Hello, my friends and loyal followers. Here is my video, my words of wisdom, maybe, about the energy of Scorpio. We had a new moon in Scorpio on Monday evening. Now, Scorpio rules all sorts of exciting things. It's about empowerment. It's about change. It's about self-mastery. It's about sex and soulmates, financial partnerships, wills and power struggles. And this includes secrets and deceptive activities like phishing. And no, I don't mean the sort that you eat. The health of the body's excretory system and reproductive system is also heavily influenced by Scorpio. So the power of this new moon is influenced by Mars sitting next to the moon and the sun and opposite Uranus, suggesting some significant disruptive energy around that time. Now, I have noted that there's been some significant volcanic activity in Iceland. Is that happening any other place in the world? Power also includes the power of intention, which, when harnessed in a group and for positive change, can be very effective. What about the power generated by a mass gathering? Ophiuchus is a zodiac sign which appears between Scorpio and Sagittarius, and there is some debate about its validity in modern horoscopes by modern astrologers. So we have a little discussion about that as well. So as mentioned before, we had a powerful new moon on Monday evening, Australian Eastern Standard Time. So check your local time for when it might have occurred where you live. I do expect it may be a time of surprises, as Uranus in Taurus opposes this new moon in Scorpio. And with Mars sitting next to the new moon and the sun, there's potential for a bit of fire. Now, Scorpio is governed by Pluto, which is ending a time in Capricorn, which began in 2008. And has wreaked havoc ever since in large organizations, powerful businesses, and governments. The next few weeks are its last in this Capricorn energy, and we can expect there to be fresh attempts in controlling our lives in many different ways. And on that note, I heard this morning on the news that there are medical people who want to impose masking on us again and reinforce the jabs. What do you think? Is this an attempted control? However, I think people generally have woken up to this powerful top-down control process, and many places are just refusing to comply. And when Pluto moves into Aquarius in late January, we can expect a very different energy. In the meantime, just be alert for attempts at control from many places. And again, with Uranus opposite the new moon, we can expect some sudden and explosive reveals or disturbances creating reveals. And this could be geophysical or political or any other level you can imagine. Because Scorpio energy is about digging deep and exposing the origins of whatever it is we are facing. And sometimes it's dirty little secrets we would rather not see. Pluto is about transformation, killing off the old, which is no longer useful, so it can be replaced by something new and better, Uranus. So take a look at where it may be impacting your chart at 21 degrees of the fixed signs, Scorpio, Aquarius, Taurus, or Leo. And if you need some help, I'm happy to help. Message me, please. The nice thing about this lineup, this new moon, is that Neptune forms a trine, a harmonious relationship with the sun and the moon. And Neptune is currently in the final degrees of Pisces. And so planets in water signs, so that's the sun and the moon and Neptune, suggest a strong connection to spirit and intuition. And so this Neptunian energy encourages and supports you in dreaming big about the future. What sort of future do you want to create for yourself and our planet? Pluto is taking away what no longer works. And Neptune is encouraging you, prompting you to dream in the new. Neptune is also about your higher self connection and your soul's wisdom. Tune in. I mentioned phishing in my introduction. So the energy of cyber security fits the Pluto-Scorpio energy really well. We all use devices, and it is imperative that we keep them safe from misuse by others who would exploit us. So just recently, a phishing message appeared on my screen. I couldn't navigate my mouse to anything other than the allow button, which I was not about to press. And never connect directly to any message like this on any of your devices. Go back to the source. Whoever it was wanted access to my machine and my data. Phishing, P-H-I-S-H-I-N-G. I found the Apple helpline, brackets, one that is Apple and not sponsored, close brackets. And I spent nearly an hour and a half with a delightful patient technician sorting this out and a few other issues I had on my machine. So what would you have done with this phishing message? Do you have a legal will? What about a power of attorney? Everyone over the age of 18 should have a legal will and a power of attorney. And while you might still be quite young and not expecting to leave us anytime soon, having written out your wishes for your possessions does make it easier on those who are responsible for taking care of your affairs, either when you are no longer on the earth plane or temporarily incapable due to illness or injury. Now, if you are a child who has a power of attorney for a parent, please work with your highest integrity and manage the affairs in your parents' best interest and not your own. Remember, there is always karma, which will settle the score at some time. Now, if you live on the Gold Coast, Jim Wilson is an experienced and delightful lawyer who specializes in wills, and he'd be very happy to come and help you draft your will or your financial power of attorney. Remember that you also need a medical power of attorney. So I've put Jim's details in the notes, and Jim is happy to visit you in your home. That may be very convenient. Now, Scorpio energy governs one-on-one relationships, intimacy, sex, soul connections. And it does have this reputation for being a sign that is strongly linked to sex. Because Scorpio rules the generative organs. And our society tends to encourage folk to value their sexual experience, but not everybody finds this a satisfying experience. So if your intimate partnership needs some improvement, maybe it's time to consult a sex therapist, or simply allocate some special time with your partner for exploring a relationship at a deeper level. I chatted recently to a lady who offers sex therapy, mostly to women, to help them better enjoy their sexual experience. A senior lady with a very unassuming demeanor, she appeared to be the most unlikely person one would consult for such matters. But isn't it often the case? And Scorpio is a master of hiding things, so she's doing well. And remember, it may not be about your partner. It may be about how you can understand, value, and improve your own sexual experiences, thus increasing enjoyment for both parties. And I've included Helen's contact details in the notes also. And so while on the generative organs, do include also the organs of elimination. Note that if you have health issues in that department, it's a good time to have them addressed. Now, I mentioned Ophiuchus. It's sandwiched between Scorpio and Sagittarius, between about the 28th, 29th of November and the 16th, 17th of December. And NASA, I have put notes from the NASA website as well. NASA notes that the zodiac signs are simply constellations that are in line with the Earth and the Sun as the planet follows its orbit. And the Earth actually travels through 13 signs, including Capricorn, Aries, and yes, Ophiuchus. But some 3,000 years ago, the Babylonians decided 12 was neater as a number than 13. So excluded the 13th zodiac sign and divided the zodiac into 12 parts based into on the 12 months of their calendar. Actually, I do believe 12 has greater significance, and I'm not going to go into that now. A sign depicted by the serpent bearer, Ophiuchus has always been on the sidereal path, as I mentioned, but has only recently been recognized in some astrological circles as a valuable astrological sign. Ophiuchus is said to seek knowledge and wisdom, serpents. The constellation encourages curiosity, transformation, comedy and passion. Negative traits are said to be a secretive personality and jealousy. According to Laura Eisenhower, this sign is associated with the element ether, quite an intangible energy. It's more powerful than air. You can't see it or feel it, but it's out there. Is this an element available to us when we ascend into the fifth dimension? Now for something more mundane. On the weekend of the 28th, 29th of October, the Australian Financial Review was wrapped by significant advertising for something called Wanderlust, an event scheduled for 4 major cities in February 2024. This True North event is a wellness festival. Be the best version of you, the words invite. Wanderlust True North, in combination with Wanderlust herbal supplements, brings mindfulness, movement, and nutrition together to inspire and nurture so we can be the best versions of ourselves. I was intrigued. My perception of the readership of the Australian Financial Review didn't encompass folk who would be interested in these ideas, but maybe I'm wrong. Whatever, it would have been an expensive investment in advertising to have a wrap on the weekend edition of the AFR. So, who else is involved? A chemist chain advertising covered 80% of one page, advertising the Wanderlust supplements. Excuse me. So is this chemist chain not associated with Big Pharma? Do we trust Big Pharma? And therefore, can we trust this message? I believe that we all need supplements in our modern world. While we strive to follow healthy lifestyles, many factors can adversely affect our bodies. The quality of the fresh food we can access is often compromised by soils that are depleted, long periods of storage, and treatments to keep it fresh that actually diminish the nutritional value of the food. Our bodies are constantly stressed by living in urban surroundings with industrial light, noise, fumes, and constant busyness. And more stress is induced by people having jobs that impose unrealistic expectations on employees who feel blackmailed to meet them. Is that you? So choose your supplements wisely. Everybody is different and we all have different needs. We can also take more than we need and it just fills our sewers. So who or what is Wanderlust? Will Google really give me the correct answer? My research led me back to Radek Sali, amongst others. Google describes him as the former CEO of Swiss Wellness and a brand visionary who revolutionized the vitamin and supplements product category, making it aspirational. Yoga Journal describes him as a successful businessman and serial entrepreneur in the health and wellness sector. I've put the reference down below for you. And Google does supply much more information about this man who has clearly been very successful at running businesses and gathering significant wealth. Now, further research confirmed my hunch that he's the son of Professor Avni Sali, a medical doctor now in his 80s, who has been at the forefront of integrative medicine in Australia. Is his son Radek Sali the leader in the health and wellness space for the next generation? Maybe. I'm curious about you, the reader. Are you a candidate for a festival like Wanderlust? Are many people genuinely seeking to raise their vibrations and consciousness? Or is it a select few? Or is it seen as fashionable to follow the consciousness path? Or is it something that really appeals to a folk of a wider population? Let me know what you think. I'm just connecting the power. Make sure we keep going. We all find our own connections to source, whatever that might be. Some of us find music is a great way of connection, or meditation, or yoga. Now, I'm not a fan of mass yoga events, but they seem pretty popular and everybody's different. Maybe that's the initiatory path for folk who have not done much yoga and will bring them into a more personalized yoga practice, consciousness and individual vibration. If that appeals, well, maybe that's the festival for you. I do believe that the world needs more conscious humans right now. And those who can see beyond the lies and the deception and vibrate at a higher frequency are those who will support humanity's evolution to a more light-filled world. I like to visualize a world where love and light prevails rather than darkness and anger. How can we harness the power of intention? In the last blurb I mentioned that the astrologer Pam Gregory has advocated for those who are interested to simply gather together at 7 p.m. every Sunday, UK time, and visualize the type of world we want to live in, where there is much more sharing and caring. Lynn McTaggart, whose details I put in the notes, has proven the power of intention with much of her work, creating groups that have sent powerful energies to individuals on the other side of the planet with great effect. So do check out her books, The Field and The Power of Eight. Scorpio is about transformation. Can we focus our Scorpio power, energy, and intentions on transforming darkness into light? The world will be a much happier place for everyone. There's always a bit about yoga because I am a yoga teacher. And we had an interesting chair yoga class on Tuesday, the 7th of November, Cup Day. You know, the horse race for which half the nation gets a holiday. Where else would that happen in the world? Anyhow, many of the ladies went to a Cup Day lunch and were not able to attend the yoga class, but we had 10 ladies and 2 gentlemen. One of the ladies remembered to bring her headgear, and in our usual marching segment, we pretended to be horses in the race and galloped around the track in our chairs, of course. Lots of fun and keeping older bodies moving. Did you move your body on Cup Day or any other day? Censorship. Very much a Scorpio. Or maybe it's a Scorpio, maybe it's not. Is censorship digging out the dirt? It depends perhaps on your perspective. If you're on my mailing list, you receive my newsletters. And like you, for those who prefer to listen, I create both a YouTube video and a podcast of what I write. And I put a version on my website as a blog. Now, last time I did a YouTube video for the energy of Scorpio, it was removed by Google about 6 months after its publication. Now, if you're on my mailing list, you get the full newsletter and all the comments. And I have to reduce the amount of material I put on YouTube. So if you want to be included in the newsletter, please send me a message, send me a message, Evelyn at kalma.com.au, and I will put you on my mailing list. So finally, at the weekend, I travelled to Canberra for a wedding of some friends. And it was a beautiful, beautiful wedding of a couple who've been together for 14 years or thereabouts. Their two beautiful daughters were so privileged to be part of their parents' wedding and witness their commitment to each other. For me as an astrologer, it was a great reflection of Scorpio intensity in a relationship. And interesting that the parents and the daughters all have Scorpio moons. Have a wonderful time in Scorpio, people. Make the most of the energy that's available to you. Have a great month. Get rid of the baggage you don't need. And we will come talk to you next time.